Papa was a traveler, down his road I have led. Keep your head on your shoulders, is all he ever said. Papa was a traveler, he sleeps in no one bed. Papa was a traveler we never have met. And he may be in Egypt or in Greece or in Rome. It's been 10 long years since Papa's been home. And I'm still waiting all alone. Soon it'll be 15 years and my Papa's still gone. My mama, she told me, she said, son, one day, if your Papa's still gone and if the skies are still gray, I promise you'll meet him either here or away. And all the kids in the neighborhood will come out to play. So on the very day that I turned 18, my mama made me promise to keep my nose clean. And then she gave me the address where my Papa may be. And then she gave me 25 more addresses where my Papa may be. So I packed a change of clothes and $50 cash, and I poured a little whiskey in my father's old flask. Mama drove me to the station and bought me my pass, and I was off to meet my Papa at last. Well, the train was empty, I sat in a window seat. We traveled through the country, those golden fields of wheat. And I had never seen the world not made of concrete. And I could feel that beauty from my head to my feet. Well, I took a sip of whiskey to have me a treat, and I wrote down the date on top of a blank sheet. And then a man sat down next to me and started to speak, and the life I once knew was so quickly obsolete. The day was done, when the sun had set it, he leaned over and he asked me, boy, where you headed? Well, I'm off to meet the man from which I've descended. Find yourself first was all he recommended. Not asking him more was all I ever regretted. Well, my ancestors came here with the colonists. My Papa was my age when he chose to enlist. A family dream that I must have missed. Morning came and I looked at the list. First stop in Detroit, no time to waste. I walked out of the station and I went looking for the place. The air was so thick you could almost taste a working man's pants held by an old shoelace. Smokestacks were smoking and the engines ran. In a dive bar on Second, my story began. I walked into place, Papa's picture in hand, and I asked everybody, have you ever seen this man? Well, I asked everybody, and I drank there all night. And they were closing down and turning off the lights. When I asked one more man, and he said he might. It's been decades since he's seen it. If he comes again, he'll write. Well, time passed by as I traveled the states. Stories filled my journal with their coinciding dates. My pockets grew empty from those railway rates, but I couldn't stop moving, so I started hopping freights. Well, I had no luck, yet still no fail, till winter came and with it brought snow and hail. And then one night they caught me while riding the rail, but there was no one there to pay my bail. So I spent 2 months in Texas County Jail. But when I got out, I went looking, and I got hired, making working wages to run my bones tired. And the other men on cocaine, they were wired. So I quit that job before I could even get fired. And then I had enough money to pay my fare from the Dallas heat to the Colorado air. And the people I'd meet and the stories we'd share, they never believed that my papa was out there. In between the mountains, the tracks did curl. From a station in Boulder, I stepped onto Pearl. And it wasn't 15 minutes before I met that girl. We danced all night, we twisted and we twirled. Well, I got drunk off my whiskey, she got stoned from her rum. And then she asked me, from where do you come? I told her I'm not wanted, but I am on the run. And I'd like to live everywhere underneath the sun. So if you must know, darling, that's where I come from. Well, we fall in love and took her car, but after a month she had gone too far. So I drove her back home, and although it was hard, she said 2 kids having fun is all we really are. And it's a mourning and a sobbing and a crying shame. But now there's a kid in Boulder with my last name, and his life story and mine are the same. So I'm sorry, my son, for causing that pain, but I promise you'll meet your papa one day. In the Rockies, where the buffalo roam, I spent the night in the cold, and I felt all alone. And it sounds like a song, but it reads like a poem. It's hard to realize you no longer have a home. Well, I finished the list, and I cried and I moaned, and I called my mama on the payphone. She told me one more place, son, to look before you come home. And all these years I should have known. Well, there were leaves on the ground and the weeds overgrown, and I walked up and down that path all alone. The land was quiet and the birds had flown, and I saw my papa's name etched on a marble headstone. And he died the same year I was born. So I left a rose above him and I started anew. All that time that was wasted with nothing more to do. And I thought of the places that I had passed through. In the road I found the father that I never knew. My papa was a traveler, and now I am too.